We're studying that energy in detail because we see, when we look at people with health conditions, the question is, where is the pattern of that condition in the energy field? Turns out that the pattern of the trauma exists in the energy field that is a frequency that exists more in the three-dimensional world. In this, we could say, like Einstein said, E equals mc squared. Anything that accelerates to the speed of light, that's matter, is going to turn into energy. So the ceiling of this reality is the speed of light, but the quantum is actually what exists beyond the speed of light. That's where things are no longer separate. That's where things are more interconnected. Even time doesn't exist there, or to a lesser degree. So if, from a theoretical standpoint, a person can raise their energy to the point they're more connected and less separate, that when they begin to go forward and backwards in time, that's a construct. Time is a construct. They're actually not going anywhere, because in the quantum field, the past, present, and future all exist in the eternal now. All possibilities exist in the eternal present moment. So when people are truly present and intentional, the act of being present and being intentional can literally change the pattern in that frequency called the quantum, where things begin to become reorganized. And that could have significant changes in a person's biology, because Einstein said that the field is the sole governing agency of the particle, which he didn't say the particle controls the particle. He said the field controls the particle. Change the field, change the pattern in the field, you change matter. So energy and its vibration then is, when you have traumas, it's frozen energy, it's frozen patterns that literally need to be reorganized. And the only way that we can do that is getting to a certain level of consciousness, a certain level of the present moment, that actually can begin to change that pattern in the field. And the pattern in the quantum, all the past, present, and future all exist in the now. So we think we're going somewhere to do that. But if you're in the quantum, there's nowhere to go, because you're everywhere. There isn't even time, there's even space. If you don't have space, you don't have time, because time is created by a separation in 2 points of consciousness. So if you're in the unified field, that field of energy that's governing everything material, and you're feeling oneness and wholeness, then you're executing greater effects on the nature of reality, because you're at a frequency that can change the pattern. And the pattern changes in the present moment, although it appears like it's in the memory of the past, but it's really in the present. And I think that's how people see very significant changes when they go back to the memory and they resubstitute a new memory, because the substitution in the present moment is exactly what's changing the past, present, and the future simultaneously. And trading certain emotions for more productive emotions, is it possible that not only will there be a change in the way the person's feeling, their well-being, but is there a change in gene expression? And our research shows that in 4 days, people doing that they begin to activate genes that suppress tumor growth and cancer growth. They stimulate genes that activate oxidative stress that help to repair and stop aging. They activate cells that grow new brain cells, the stem cells also, that are stimulated from the gene expression, that begin to go to damaged tissues and repair them. We see more hormonal changes and more hormonal balance, and that's just in 4 days. So from a theoretical standpoint, genes are like Christmas tree lights. They go on and off all the time, and when they are signaled from something in the environment, that's usually what causes the gene to express itself. And genes make proteins, and proteins are responsible for the structure and function of the body. So is it possible then to signal the gene ahead of the environment? And that's the concern of the question that we ask, because if you're elevating your emotional state and combining with a clear intention, your brain and body really don't know the difference between what's going on in your outer world and what's going on in your inner world. And your body, as the unconscious mind, is believing it's living in that environmental situation. And now you're selecting and instructing the genes. Now, it has to be sustained for a period of time. So then a person has to develop a new habit in order to get there. And so in a 1-week period of time, well, we just finished an event in Brighton, just down the road here. I'm in London, down the street from you. And we saw people with very significant changes in everything from Raynaud's syndrome to heart conditions, to eye conditions, to chronic pain, to depression. because they had an opportunity really to begin to examine their unconscious thoughts, or notice their automatic behaviors and habits, and look at certain emotions that they live by that they didn't even know that they lived by because it felt too much like them. And when they began to uh, make some significant changes, the disease kind of exists in the old personality, and they're literally someone else. So we've seen that from just a biological standpoint.